What's up guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg with a look at the Pixel C. This is a Google designed Android tablet that is available in 32 and 64 gig capacities for $499 or $599. Now it's called the Pixel C because it's a convertible tablet, meaning it's designed to specifically work with optional keyboard accessories, which we'll also be reviewing in this video. Unboxing the Pixel C is a lot like unboxing a Chromebook Pixel. Very nicely packaged with great attention to detail, and this is clearly a premium product. Lifting the lid, we'll find our plastic wrapped Pixel C front and center. Now before we unwrap the Pixel C, let's get the box and accessories out of the way. First up is our setup guide, which is very basic. You'll find everything you need to know on the back as well, so feel free to hit that 4K button and pause the screen to read the fine text. Below that, we'll find our only accessory, which is a 15-watt power adapter with a USB Type-C cable permanently attached. This will provide a quick charge to the large battery in the tablet and any attached keyboard accessories. Getting back to the tablet, we have plenty of plastic to peel off. Now, the first thing you notice about holding the Pixel C is just how light and solid the tablet feels. It's actually very similar in size and feel to something like the iPad Air. Now, as I'm unwrapping it here, you can see the LED indicators have lit up, which tells me that it's booting up, probably because I hit the power button already. Now, switching it to the front, we can see that Android 6.0 boot screen, which looks really nice on this display with those deep blacks and vivid colors. Now, taking a close look at the tablet, it looks very much like the Chromebook Pixel with premium materials and precision build quality throughout. As far as tablets go, this is one of the nicest to look at, and it handles really well. The back is one piece of anodized aluminum that curves to meet the squared off edges, so it's a little softer than the sharper edged Chromebook Pixel. We'll find the signature multicolor Google LED light on the back, which you can tap in order to check the battery status of the tablet, again very similar to the Chromebook Pixel. Now when you're charging the tablet, the lights pulse when you check the status, and it will turn solid green when fully charged. The light is also always on when using the tablet, displaying the Google colors. Now just above the LED light along the edge, we'll find no less than 4 microphones, which are designed for far-field voice command. So you can interact with Google Now from across the room, although this will only work if the screen is on or the device is charging. We also get a fairly conventional 1080p 8 megapixel camera in the corner, which is surrounded at the edges with our sleep-wake power button as well as our volume rocker. The buttons themselves are also made of metal and have a nice solid feel. On the upper right side, we'll find our 3.5mm headphone jack, which is about the same diameter as the tablet is thick. On the lower left side, we'll find a USB Type-C connector, which is pretty much standard on all new Google devices this year. Also located at the center of the left and right sides are a set of stereo speakers, which sound good with nice depth and clarity, but could use a little more low-end punch to balance it out. On the front, we'll find our 10.2-inch LCD LTPS display with a crisp resolution of 2560 by 1800, which is good for 308 pixels per inch. The display is a big improvement over the Nexus 9 display from last year with a deep 1500 by 1 contrast ratio and the full sRGB color gamut. So overall, the display delivers vivid colors, inky blacks, and great off-axis viewing angles with sharp detail. Also at the top of the display, we'll find a 2 megapixel camera, also good for 1080p video. We also get an ambient light sensor and proximity sensor. The Pixel C is powered by the NVIDIA Tegra X1 64-bit CPU with a Maxwell 256-core GPU. We also get 3 gigs of RAM to work with and the latest and greatest in terms of Wi-Fi with dual MIMO Wi-Fi antennas and 802.11ac compatibility. Unfortunately, no LTE version is currently available. On Geekbench, this processing power delivers 1377 on the single-core score and 4177 on the multi-core score. Now, that single-core score is actually down from the Nexus 9, but the multi-core score is up significantly, reflecting the change from a faster dual-core CPU in favor of a more efficient quad-core CPU. Now, despite the Pixel brand on this tablet, it's actually running stock Android 6.0 Marshmallow instead of Chrome OS. Now, it's mostly unchanged here from Android 6.0 on the Nexus 9, which I looked at in a previous video, and I'll leave that linked in the description below so you can check it out. Now, the Pixel C does move the Android navigation keys to the corners of the screen, which makes them a little more thumb-reachable in either landscape or portrait orientation. Now, unfortunately, they haven't added any windowing or side-by-side apps within Android to take advantage of the larger display and hardware capabilities, which we're finding on more tablets today, like iOS 9 or Windows. However, all of this could change in the future with software releases, so stay tuned. Although sold separately, the keyboard and tablets are designed to work together. There are 2 versions, both of which cost $149 each. The most interesting case here is the Pixel C keyboard, which has a more premium, all-metal design, but doesn't provide the same protection as the traditional folio-style case. Now, unboxing the case is a lot like unboxing the Pixel C itself. We do get an instruction pamphlet which describes the many ways in which this keyboard can be used, and we'll go through them in this video. The keyboard is wrapped just like the Pixel C, and it looks just as premium with the same anodized aluminum panel on the back with a set of rubberized feet at each corner. The keyboard itself is full-sized, although many of the keys on either side have been shrunken or moved to the on-screen keyboard to fit the compact size of the tablet without compromising keyboard spaciousness. Now, this is a Bluetooth keyboard with an internal battery which is recharged via inductive charging when connected to the Pixel C. Now, to pair the keyboard to the tablet, all you need to do is line up the back of the Pixel C to the hinge of the keyboard and it snaps into place using really strong magnets. The Pixel C will then prompt you to type in a pairing code and you're good to go. Now, the magnets are very strong and hold on securely to the tablet, while the hinge gives you a limited range of variable tilt. The keyboard is a really solid piece of design in every detail, and the keys themselves actually feel really nice. The keyboard feel is fairly conventional, however. There is plenty of depth and mechanical action, so it doesn't feel too shallow or stiff or unusual, but it doesn't feel really solid either. Now, I did get used to the smaller keys on the left-hand and right-hand side. Initially, I was aiming too far away from them when trying to hit the Shift or Delete key. Because this keyboard eliminates some of the other function and punctuation keys, you can now find them with an on-screen keyboard which you can invoke with a dedicated key on the keyboard. Now, just like a laptop, you can close up the Pixel C and the keyboard. Of course, you do have to detach the keyboard first in order to do this. Now, this is the mode in which the keyboard charges. So when the keyboard is closed up, that's when inductive charging takes over to recharge the keyboard from the tablet. Alternatively, you can also tuck the keyboard behind the Pixel C if you want to use it in tablet mode, but still want to keep the keyboard around so you don't misplace it. And when you want to return it to laptop mode, you slide the keyboard back into place and reconnect it to the hinge. You do have to keep in mind that the tablet is only held on to the keyboard via magnets, which does feel precarious at times since it can move around and jiggle. The Folio keyboard is a more traditional keyboard case, but with plenty of unique features as well. I like the keyboard because it provides full protection for the Pixel C, but isn't quite as slick to look at. Now, using this case is much simpler, as we can tell from the brief instructions on the inside. Now, inside the case, we'll find the same exact keyboard, but now it's wrapped in microfiber material to cushion and protect the glass display. The Pixel C is actually cradled in a hard plastic shell with a slot toward the bottom. So instead of snapping the tablet into place, the shell itself holds onto the Pixel C using strong magnets. Now, with the case on, you can see that the tablet is cushioned and protected with cutouts for the LED indicator and camera. Now, to use it, just flip open the case and position the bottom edge until it locks in above the keyboard with strong magnet. The keyboard can be configured for two angles here. All you have to do is adjust the flap in the back, so you have a taller angle or a shallower angle. You can also fold the keyboard behind the tablet, and when you do so, that deactivates the keyboard, so you don't unintentionally operate the keyboard when you're handling it. Now, in terms of day-to-day performance, this tablet doesn't feel as fast as I typically expect from a stock Android tablet. I do notice some lag when launching apps or relaunching apps, or even bringing up things like the on-screen keyboard. Things can be a little inconsistent in terms of performance, but hopefully that's improved over time. Gaming on this tablet is particularly impressive with this Maxwell GPU, and for some games, you can actually take advantage of the keyboard controls, which is kind of nice. In terms of battery life, through benchmarking, I was able to achieve about 6 hours with the screen set to maximum brightness, which is fairly average for tablets this size. In terms of the camera app, it can be quickly launched by double pressing the power key. The app is fairly basic stock Android with no burst photo mode or 4K video recording in this case. You can pinch in and out to zoom and snap your photograph. Autofocusing is fairly slow here, especially in low light conditions. Several modes are available by swiping to the right, which includes familiar features like photosphere, panorama, lens blur, and video. Image quality is adequate with good amount of detail and accurate color reproduction in bright sunlight conditions, but the camera does struggle with exposure and tends to overexpose to bring up shadows, which tends to be the case with mobile cameras with smaller apertures. Now, in terms of low light performance, it's not the best here, but it's not terrible either. It does exhibit quite a bit of color noise in an effort to bring up exposure in order to preserve detail. The image processor in here does a fairly good job cleaning it up, but it's definitely not the best in terms of low light performance. Now, while recording video, we do have continuous autofocusing, and you can snap a photo while recording video by tapping the screen. There is no optical image stabilization, but video does come out pretty smooth anyway. We do get crisp 1080p video in daylight conditions, but the camera tends to struggle with exposure and can jump around abruptly. We have continuous autofocusing, but it's very slow and tends to hunt around a lot before finding the correct focus. Ultimately, the Pixel C is a very nice piece of hardware in search of better software. Very few Android apps are optimized for tablets and are effectively scaled-up phone apps that don't really take advantage of a large display or even landscape view. Although the Pixel C is ideally suited for productivity, Android doesn't yet offer side-by-side windowing or really quick app switching, which makes productivity more cumbersome but not impossible. Ultimately, stock Android is very dated in a tablet environment. I can't help but think that a major redesign is coming our way very soon, with Google offering hardware designed to do much more. The Pixel C sort of reminds me of the iPad Air 2 when it launched, powerful hardware but no real way to use its potential. That eventually changed with iOS 9, and I suspect something similar is coming for Google and the Pixel C. But for now, this tablet is definitely for Android fans or developers to get them ready for what's next. Alright guys, so that's going to do for me in this video. What I want to know from you guys is, what do you think of the Pixel C? Who's this for? Please let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.